Who am I? I wonder who I really am. Who do I belong to? Who am I? So I'm in here to do something a little bit different. I guess you could call it like a story time, but I'm not gonna get into details about it. I'll do that in another video. If you hear noise, it's my dogs. They're right here instead of being on their bed. So today I want to talk about my name, not my first name, but my last name. In my life, my last name has been a very sore spot for me. It has been very controversial. It's been very controversial in my family. It's been an issue. It's been an issue because my name is not legally what it should be. And now that I'm married, I still haven't changed my name because I am still struggling with my name. A lot of people will feel like, what's the big deal? A name is a name. It's no big deal. Well, for me, it is a big deal. Because to me, your name, your last name, says where you belong and who you belong to. And when you come to find out that your last name is not a true indication of who and where you belong, it can be an issue. At least for me, it was an issue. My mom and dad were never married. When my dad met my mom, he was married. And I'm not going to get into their whole life story. We'll come to that another day. I am basically what they used to call a love child. I'm a product of an affair. And so my mom married while she was pregnant with me. And hence my last name became what it is. Or what it is in some instances. Because I have a couple of names that I use. And so growing up, when I found out that my dad was my dad, which he was always in my life. I've never had a moment where my dad was not in my life. He was always there. And again, I won't get into their whole story because it's just a mess. But I was always loved. I always had both of my parents with me. I found out that my dad was my dad when I was 13. Or maybe 11. I was somewhere up in there when I found out who he really was. Because again, he's always been there. He's always been around. He's always been in my life. Always. Everything. Whereas the man whose name is on the birth certificate, when I was about a year old, that relationship ended. And I remember how and when my mom threw him out of the house. I was so very young. Like, he could walk up to me now and I probably wouldn't know him. I've seen a recent picture of him, but it would mean nothing to me. Whereas my daddy, that's my daddy. You know, that's my man. That's my everything. And so I knew as a kid that my last name was not who I was. And so it began to be an issue for me. But it really didn't bother me until 2005. My father died in 2005. In 2004, he got hurt in a motorcycle accident and he passed away in 2005. Up until then, my mom did not know that I knew he was my dad because it was between me and my grandma. And again, that story will come later. And so the day that he died, I was so devastated and I was so distraught and I was so upset. And just, oh my God, it was a horrible day. And I remember saying to my mom, you act like you don't even care that my daddy is dead. And And which she did, because she said he's the only man she's ever loved, and I believe it. They couldn't leave each other alone. And so she said, why do you say that's your daddy? I said, because it is. And on that day, the day my dad died, was the day my mom told me the truth. And that was in 2005. Well, the day I found out he had died. Again, I'll get into that story another time. Because again, my dad's never been missing from my life. And he disappeared for months, missed my birthday. And I'm like, where the hell is he at? Something is wrong. And the story spiraled on from there. So in 2005, I began the process of changing my last name. And it was an expensive ordeal. And it is now 2017, and my name change has still not finalized, because there is no written documentation connecting me to my dad. No legal written documentation connecting me to my dad. So when I went to the courts to petition for a name change in 2005, I had to go through proving that he was my dad. Well, he's dead. He's dead. So what do I do? Well, I do have a brother and sister with him. My brother's in South Carolina, my sister's in Pittsburgh. I mean, I had to go through the whole meeting them and all that other stuff. And it's like, you know, this big Passion and Falcon. This big elephant just jumped out the closet, which his best friend knew, my brother actually knew, and one of my aunts knew. But I had to go through the ordeal of proving, which means I need DNA from them. They need DNA. The courts need DNA from me and DNA from them. That is a very tedious and emotionally draining process. Because in the same moment you meet these people who most of them knew nothing of you, you have to ask them for DNA. That was a rough day. That was a rough day. Because they have their feelings. I have my feelings. They don't know me. I don't know them. They don't know what my true motives are. Granted, I didn't need money or want, and my daddy took care of me well. All I wanted was my name. That's all I wanted. I want my name. I was trying to get my birth certificate changed and all this other stuff, which it can be done legally, but it requires proof. You need a paper trail. And I didn't have a paper trail. No, I had a buttload of pictures of me and him from birth on up, but no paper trail. And so that ordeal just turns into the most heartbreaking, confusing, maddening situation. And my lawyer said, until we can unscramble this, we're going to assume his name. And after so many years, the name becomes yours. And I can't remember the amount of years, and I don't know if laws have changed now. So I began to assume his name. I would use it. I would sign everything that I did. I used that name. I used it. I would hyphenate it. I would use my legal last name, but I would hyphenate it and put my dad's name. And then after a while, I dropped my legal name and I only used my dad's name. Now, the only place where that did not work was like Social Security, my license and stuff like that. So that's why I say I am this Tamika over here and I am this Tamika over there, and then I'm this Tamika in the middle. So I got this one, and this one. And that can be very overwhelming. It's very overwhelming. And so I had to figure out, how do I resolve this? How do I put this to bed and move on with my life? Does a name really mean that much? Is it really that important? I had to search myself. Tamika, is it really that important? Does it really matter? And when I search myself, it does. For me, it does. Because my name is my history. It's my lineage. It is where I come from. It is where I belong. And my legal name has nothing to do with me. Now, is it a part of my story? Yeah, but it's just a part of the story. It's like a cameo, a character that did a cameo. It's just a glimpse. It was a formality. It was pretend. It wasn't real. The entire situation of me being my last name, my legal last name, it was an arrangement. It was a business deal. Hand to God, it was an arrangement. It was a business deal. So it is a part of my story, but it's not who I am. My daddy is who I am, and I want that. So then we enter into, how do I get that when I have a family who, out of all of those people, only 1, 2, 3 people knew, 4 if you include my dad, knew I existed. And now I'm coming to y'all, coming to them like, hey, I need some DNA. Just for my brother and sister though. And the challenge became, my brother looked so much like my dad, I could not even stand to talk to him. His voice, the way he said my name, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. And so, because I was still grieving, it was early. It was so much going on during that time. The shock and the reality and secrets and all this other stuff. And now, on top of that, I need your DNA. You know, it was rough. So I hit a wall in getting my name changed. So now what do I do? Because getting DNA from them, probably not going to happen. So I had to say, okay, Tamika, what do we do? We can't get the DNA, or it's going to take more time and more emotions and more entanglements and more questions, because my daddy was good to me. He was the best daddy ever, but that's not my sister's story. And although my sister is 21 years older than me, she doesn't know him like I know him. My brother, he had a relationship with my brother, but they didn't grow up with him because my dad is from South Carolina. He moved to Michigan. I lived in Michigan. I was raised in Michigan. So he helped raise me. That's not their story. So here I come, and I got all these stories and all these pictures and all these wonderful things about my dad, how he tried to teach me how to drive and how he bought me these cars and he did all this stuff, and I stood on his feet and he taught me to slow dance and all this other stuff. And my sister's like, wow, really? And my brother's like, oh, okay. I quickly learned to be quiet and to keep that to myself. Not because it made them feel resentment towards me, but it made them have questions of their own, especially my sister. Like, wow, really? But my dad had them when he was 18. When I was born, my dad was 43. So it's a lot. It's a lot of entanglements and questions and secrets and crap. I don't know why people lie to children and allow the lie to linger. I know why my mom and daddy lie, and that will be in another story, but it still made no sense. It's just made no sense. So then we get back to my name. What do I do? Where do I belong? Who am I? I don't know. My name is not right, or whatever. And for me, that was an issue. So I said, you know what? I know I'm not the man on my birth certificate. That's not me. I know I am my dad's kid, but I can't get the DNA. Where do I go where I belong? I went back to what I know. I went back to who I know I belong to, my mother. And I made a decision to change my name, my legal name, to my mother's maiden name. And I'm still in the process of changing my name. I want my birth certificate altered. I want the man that's on there taken off. We're still working on that. So and again, I'm married. And Dee doesn't understand why I haven't changed my name. but she doesn't understand how important my name is to me. Before I can take on another person's name and become a part of their story and their history, I gotta fix my story and what will be my history. So my goal now is to change my name to my mother's maiden name, the name of my tribe, because everybody in my family last name is this name, unless it's a girl and she's married. And I will have my mother's maiden name as my legal last name, and I will hyphenate it and put my married name. And so I will be Tamika, blah, blah. So that is my goal, and that is how I am able to move forward from not having a name that truly identifies who I am. To some, it is like, that's stupid. It makes no difference. But to me, it means everything. It tells me where I belong. It tells me where I belong. And right now, I have a niece, a little niece. She's only 10, in a similar situation. And I am drilling my sister, change her name now. Explain it to her. She's little, she's young, she's open. You can explain it to her and she can move on. Don't let her be another me. I went through this, so my niece doesn't have to go through this. I don't want her to get to 20, 30, 40 and be like, who the hell am I? Who am I? Because your name says who you are, where you belong. It's a part of you. Whether you want to believe it or not, or whether it's that serious for you or not. For me, I need my name. I want my name. I want my real name. I want the name that identifies me and connects me to my tribe. I don't want to be this limb hanging out here. Because with my mom, it was me, my mom, my brother, and my sister. My brother and sister are from my mom's first marriage, and they have the same dad. They have the same name. So it's me, mom, it's Mama, Vine, Joe, then me. And all of them had the same name. Well, when I came along, me and Mama had the same name because Mama married the man or whatever. But Joe and Vine had the same last name, and my name was different. And when I was little, it didn't matter. I was happy. I was playing. I was a kid. But as I aged and when I found out the truth of who my father was, it became an issue. Don't lie to your kids. Don't keep secrets. I don't care how horrible the secret is. Tell them. Tell them. Don't lie to them. Don't leave them in the dark and leave them wondering and confused and hurt and damaged. If there are holes in the story, fill those holes while you have an opportunity, because the day is coming where you won't have an opportunity to fill those holes, and you'll have a child left with a lot of questions and nobody to answer those questions. And take it from me, that's a hard road to walk on. Alright guys, that is the end. I am out of here. Thanks for watching. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in another video. Bye!